Hey bookworms, we are going to do our Secret Garden bookmark. So I'm going to open up my kit here, the canvas, and I have just recently done the Weekly Whimsy cover. So I covered my paint, so it should still be good. So we are going to use a lot of those same colors, and it will, I wanted it to match this time. I don't know. I really loved this clip art of this bird here, and then I sort of took different clip art and put it together and made it sort of our own thing to go with this. But I just thought this little guy, he has such a big part in this story and like the change in Mary that I thought he would be super cute to do again. So I just really love this bird. Sorry that he's shown so many times, but I just think he's so cute and such a fun part. And then we've got our rose gold rose charm to go on the end there. So I'm going to put my string and my rose gold to the side. And then hopefully that color I mixed for the full roses is still pretty liquidy. I don't know if it will be, but we'll see. I'll have to mix some more if not. I've got my paint, my brushes, paper towel, and I'll move this up to the side. And then I've got my paint. I'm going to move my brush over a little. Okay, so just as before, I'll probably actually, yeah, anyway. So I'm going to do like a blue wash sort of around the bird, which I should have done the first time on the book cover. So I'm just going to touch areas that I want sort of blue for the sky with some watered down blue. And this color goes nice with the book. And I'm okay with a lot of it being going over top of especially the flowers. I just want a really light background blue. There we go. But we're going to use thicker, heavier paint for the flowers themselves, so this wash should be okay. I'll give us a nice pretty blue background that goes along with our book and creates the sky behind everything. I'm trying to avoid especially like the bird a little more, but other than that, I don't feel like I don't have to be super careful with this part. And then after I get this done, I'm going to hit it with my heat gun. And I don't know if I said, I'm still using the acrylic I definitely like the acrylic better on the canvas, even though the colored pencils did work for me. And it was fun to try, but I like how the acrylic dries down nice, and I don't have to worry about it coming off. All right. All right, so now let me dry this a little. And then we're gonna go ahead, I'm gonna get started on the bird. I'm gonna do the same thing I did before and do this orangey brown color on the bird's chest. And so last time I think I did sort of like a wash over the chest first. I wanted to see what this would do if I did more of like texturized it as I went. Just by the way so you can see how I'm like dabbing and pulling. I think I like that. And I've got water on my brush, so it's sort of diluted still. And then up the cheek and around the eye. Okay. And then I made like a grayish, well, actually I did the silver all over, I forgot. I'm gonna paint it really similarly, so. There we go. And I'm still doing like the pull and drag to give it more of like a feathery look. And then I'm gonna grab some of the silver, a little bit of brown, maybe a little more silver. There we go, look at that taupey color. A little too much water. Picking up some silver, blend the two together. Okay. And then going back for the dark again. I'm adding, especially on the tips of the wings, let me add, I need a little bit of water. So I can get some texture from the feathers. There we go. Okay. I feel like I need a little more depth in there. Give some better definition between the wings and stuff. So I'm just gonna add a little more dark. There we go. I'm adding a little more gray. And I added a tiny bit of white through the feathers down that way too. But I'm just sort of giving like a silver over top, just to give him a little more texture. And I like the metallic look. It looks like a sheen on his wings. Okay. And then I'm gonna use brown. Actually, I'm gonna go with the dark brown on his beak. There we go. And then the brown on his legs. There we go. And then pretty happy with that right now. So this one's not as dark as the print. I didn't make as dark as the book. I'm trying to decide. You guys let me know what you like better. If you like the darker outline print or if you like the lighter outline print. Let me know when you guys do these, because they're a similar picture, so I feel like you'll have a better idea on whether you prefer the lighter outline or the darker outline. Because I did both, and I think I have an opinion, but I want to see what you guys think on which one you prefer. So like what I was saying, so the booklet, this outline is much darker. On this one, I didn't lighten it. On this, I actually lightened the outline a little. So you guys let me know what you think. So try to do them sort of close together, so that way you can have an idea of what you think on whether you prefer it that way or not. So I'm just doing the dark green on the little branch he's sitting on. Do the green on the leaves. Just realized I missed his back toe on this. Let me grab it really quick. I saw the lines here. There we go. That looks better. Okay, and then grab some more of the green. There's lots of flowers on this. So can you see how some of this is like lighter than others? I like that it does that as I paint because I feel like it gives each like leaf a different depth. So like the more water I use, the lighter it comes out, which is really cool. But it works nice because then each leaf looks slightly different, so that's not all super uniform. This one's a little more tedious with all the leaves. It's gonna look really cool when it's done though. You can see the thicker paint makes like a deeper looking leaf. So it's neat just to be able to add extra paint and create that depth without having to add like color. All right, so now that I've got most of those on, I am gonna go back with just like some heavier paint. I'm gonna roll my brush tip in it, and then I'm gonna sort of give some of these some outline. So they've got a little more deepness to them. I'm trying to get the right consistency of wet and paint there. All right, I definitely want my stems to show up a little better, so I'm gonna make those all a little darker. Let's see. And then add some shadow to my leaves. Especially to one side of the leaf, I think that makes a really cool like look to it. Looking pretty good with just this dark green. I'm just using the same color still. down here. This one's really faint. All right, I'm pretty happy with that. So now I'm gonna dip in the light green and add some highlight. Alright, I'm going to grab some more dark green for a couple of the places I see. So like down here, look, I don't have much definition on these. There we go. There's one, oh, this one right here. I didn't like touch this one at all with the dark green. There we go. All right. Pretty happy with that, I think. All right, so let's move on to the flowers. I am going to hit it with my heat gun again so I don't smudge it all up. Okay. And rinse my brush off really good. And then my paint I mixed is not quite where I want it anymore, so pick up my white and try to get that peachy. Yep, there we go. Pretty good. All right. And I'm going to do similar to what I did last time, where I just sort of cover the whole flower and then go back. rinse my brush, and then I'm going to go back in with the red, just the straight red, and give the shadow. So I'm going to follow sort of like the lines in the petals and deepen up all that area. So I'm just getting it on there right now, and then I'm going to go back and sort of blend here in a minute. Okay. Okay, so now I'm going to use some of my lighter color and sort of blend these out a little bit. You could also possibly use water to blend a little more. All right. Rinse my brush really good, and then I'm going to use some white. Make sure I am still in. Sorry guys, I'm sort of pulling up out of the video. There we go. So all of this is still wet. And you can see I'm like doing like swoops along the petals, the edges of the petals. And just very little white. And you're working wet on wet here, so as long as you're not using too much, it should be pretty easy to work it into that paint that you just put on and get a nice like gradient color. There we go. I like it. Okay. I'm going to hit it with my heat gun again, and then I'm going to use, I know I've shown you guys before, I use like a regular pencil just to touch up like the detail of it. So I'm going to do that. All right, the pencil. So I'm going to just use it like a regular number 2 pencil. And darken up some of the features, especially the bird. So I use it to add a little shading and stuff too. Sort of where a lot of those lines already were. All right. I don't know that do I want to do? Yeah, I'm going to do a little bit in the roses. We'll see. So I'm just going to darken some of those lines. I don't think I'm going to do all of them. I just want it sort of like a sketch looking. I don't think I'm going to do the leaves at all, because I like the way those look. All right, I think I'm pretty happy with that. The only other thing I feel like it needs, I feel like the bird's eye needs to be a little darker. There we go. It might be too dark. I feel like that's almost too much. Oh well, too late now. I could probably get that off, but I don't want to get black everywhere doing that either. And then I think I'm going to just take a touch of white and put it back onto the highlight there to make it pop just a little more. There. I gave 2 little highlights. I like that better. Much better. Okay, cool. All right, so let me pull this up. I'm gonna probably hit it with a, look how cute our little birdie is. I'm gonna, actually, no, I probably don't need to, because the only part that should be wet now is the eye. Okay, so we've got our rose gold rose there. Trying to remember how I was going to do this. Okay, so I think what I want to do, so this is elastic, which is sort of fun. I think what I'm going to do is just tie a knot. Yeah. And then trying to decide. I think I'm going to cut this off. I'm going to hit it with a little bit of heat to melt that. There we go. Be careful with that. Should melt the rubber a little. It stinks on the elastic, but I'm thinking that will melt that together so it doesn't come apart as easy. Okay. And then I'm going to slip, let me think, what do I want to do? Because I want this at the end. Okay, so I'm going to slip this through first. Maybe. It's not as easy as the ribbon. There we go. Alright, and then I want this to come through that way. There we go. So we've got our rose on the one side, and then slip this through the back here. And the rose underneath, and pull. There is our completed bookmark. It's so cute. I'm going to rotate this, I think. Actually, hold on. I'm going to go the opposite direction. So let's do this. And see if that makes the knot lay in the right spot better. I'll pull it around back. I want the knot more on the back there. Maybe. Okay. Yeah, I like that better. Okay, that looks nicer. So I got my knot more towards the back there. All right. So cute. I'm excited to see your guys's. Look how pretty that looks together. Sort of color coordinating and such. They're cute little robins. Okay, I'm excited to see your guys's. I hope you love it. Now you have your bookmark to put in your book. I know I said last time I was going to do these more like earlier on, and I just completely forgot to do that. I need to be better organized. So there's our bookmark to stick in our book as we read. I hope you guys are enjoying the story. I think it's super cute. I always loved the movie when I was a kid, so it's fun to read the book. And I will talk to y'all soon. Bye.